And we're live. And loading screen. We'll get there. There we are. Oh, come on. Give me the title card. Please. There we are. We are back. So last week was a bit of a cliffhanger. Boy, we went 3 hours last week and we still didn't get to the end of the first chapter. We're almost there, so I think this is the last section from what I remember. So yeah, that's that's a thing. Oh, I should do a thing one of these days. Anyway, so we're back with the first chapter of the first game. So this is the collection of games. Before we hop right into it, just by way of announcement, our specialty stream for this month is going to be on the 30th, and that's going to be another casual speedrun of Mega Man X. So I'm gonna try that one again and try to get a run that I feel isn't complete garbage, and then actually submit that to the leaderboard. So I have done that with New Super Lucky's Tale and Super Mario 3, but Mega Man X is kind of an outlier. I did play another game recently that is not a bad speedrun and fits into the 2-hour mark. So that may go into the rotation, but that's probably going to be next year, and then we'll just start building up the different games that all speedrun. Just do these casual speedruns like this, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I like the idea of the end of the year one is just this revisit of this one that I did before, and so I kind of like that idea. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and continue where we left off. Because, oh boy, we left off at a cliffhanger. And hopefully I'm going to make sure that I got the right voices for all of this. There's so many characters in this game, and I'm bound to, forget the voice that I did for, some one-off character. Especially with, some other things that are going to come up. Anyway, back into it we go. So, just as a reminder, unless it does, is this one of those games that gives you, this kind of, here's this synopsis of, where you were? I don't think it is. Yeah, it's not. So, we are in trial right now, and we have been trying to get to the bottom of the murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Have to be careful not to say Watson because reasons. Anyway, and so we are confronting this English woman that was with him at the time, Giselle Brett, and now we're looking into the possibility of poison as the murder, but. Oh, yeah! Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why the sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ha! A judicial assistant! And a woman, no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I only asked for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency! I am most grateful. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something? Written in English? It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical facility and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she?
So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. No, of course not. Special characteristics of cure and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Cure? What's that? I've never heard that word before. Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful. Thank you. Goodbye then, and good luck.
You've had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. Oh, that scowl right now. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but let's actually take a look at that. So, a poison made from the bark of certain types of trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry: the above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. And due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it is believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Lovely stuff! Okay.
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. The reality, or this really is our last chance.
Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence.
That look. That unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett?
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time.
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Well, this right here.
Yes!
Mr. Giselle Brett, we understood you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison. What?
Poison! Where are you going with this, counsel? A
toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
It doesn't exist. Correct, which means no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What?
Right out the gate here. Order! 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 Council, does this deadly poison truly exist?
According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspersions are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector?
Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used.
Explain yourself, Counsel.
The moment that this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Cosima. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison.
Oh. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? I hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All these facts! You think you're so clever, but you must be...
Shut up!
It is you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work, and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it! The idea that some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules! What's so funny? Excuse me, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett.
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see why not.
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry. To an English woman such as myself, this whole affair is a
Farcical? Maybe?
farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics. It's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Oh. Goodness. Whatever is the matter, you all look quite stunned. So, no cure. The bottle was clean, is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in the this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett.
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We're most grateful with all the assistance you've given.
This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So, how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation the next party I attend in London. There has to be a way to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Inosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water. The culprit did put Curare poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious.
Objection!
Fool! Are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be.
Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Actually, this
Yes!
is here.
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No? After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. The impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule this court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes.
I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, counsel. Okay, I'll actually have to check this again. So, there it is. Page 2 is the one that we want for route of entry. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? What was the actual page title? Special characteristics. Okay.
We've been hearing a lot about this Curare poison. And it's left me curious about something.
Oh, counsel?
Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting.
So we've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please! But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, counsel! No, that would be madness.
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense.
Yes. The mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it... A little bit of spoilers there, but yes. Things will kick off later on. I don't know if anybody's playing through this or is watching this for the first time, so...
But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking the water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little rapscallion! Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
Oh, all this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how...
Shut up!
So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you silly. You look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, Curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric
Septus. It's throwing words at me that I have no clue what they mean.
Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? So, if his lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah, that's right!
Good gracious! Oh. Got a little bit of burps going on.
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no?
Order! Order in court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way.
Are you trying to suggest... Yes! This Curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. What is this welling up inside of me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like, and more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
There we are.
I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why. Even though both of you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead.
Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence, as we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Curare?
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there is a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners.
A fatal difference.
The toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Ah! So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also pure air. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence might have just been tragically destroyed. No! What is it? What just happened? It's English. She smashed that bottle. And the Supreme Court. What a terrible blow.
Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from the broken bottle as possible. At once!
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You've neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
How could you? You won't get away with this!
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there was really poison in the bottle, or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course! You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No! You killed the victim that day, using Carrere. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly! And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Ugh. It's unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way that she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yes, we've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. what I saw, or what I felt. Every color. Is Cosmo right?
Oh man, the music is so good.
Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Actually, Cosmo, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Haha, you always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe that smug smile off the English woman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been playing at me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories that day.
I'm not attempting to say that word.
Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is...
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? He's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day.
Objection!
Wait a minute! Where are you...
Shut up!
Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw this scene shown in photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies that the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite of the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett. I beg your pardon.
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous! Fabricated nonsense!
Oh man, Hosonaga is cool.
Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accuser has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
So about that. Oh, hi.
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. And I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice.
Yeah.
Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it, now!
Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Man, we've been going 40 minutes already. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you've ordered. The steak.
Well, what about the blood?
Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't!
Inspector, quickly! The blood man! Show the court! Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure.
No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. I couldn't agree more in the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so. The let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. Was the plate I saw, or I thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost.
Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what.
Believe in myself. Really. Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself.
We're gonna go ahead and do that now.
Huh. What in the world is this?
I think it's a Koban coin, and hallmarked from the Hoi era, I believe.
No, I don't mean, what is it? I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoi Koban?
Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable.
This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Hoi Koban.
I've heard of pearls before swine, but I'd never heard of a bullion in bouillon.
And I don't think you ever will again. It's extraordinary, though. This means...
I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath of this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoi era, too, which would... yeah, that would make it really quite valuable. So, I mean, marinated in juices as well. Look. Wait, are you thinking of eating it?
No.
But the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. The Koban coin underneath this steak. There's only one logical explanation. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection?
that bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all?
There's another clue.
Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Objection!
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
See, as a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this beefsteak is the new clue to be found? So we do the same thing. Okay, yep. We've already gone through that. It's one of those things with this game of, like, it's always unclear if, like, you need to find this, like, as, like, you're presenting it, or if you need to find it, like, independently so that it updates in the court record and then you can just present that way. Alright. Well, that's a curious little thing, isn't it?
Got it!
Good gracious, that's...
Koban? What on earth? A Hoy era one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat. That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare Hoy Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency.
Yes, counsel.
A rare Hoy Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
Alright, let me read chat here. Oh, yep. Yep. Or, like, you get, like, the other problem with, like, Ace Attorney games is, like, when you, like, even if you're playing it the first time and you get, like, that bit of logic before it gets there, you're just like, what? This makes sense. This makes sense. Let me do this. And, like, the game has to have it done the way the game has it done. There are some where, like, they've done better about that, and, like, you can present, like, if there's multiple pieces of evidence, like, you might be able to present them in, like, different orders, but it still does that thing from time to time.
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we know that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under the steak.
The owner?
Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath this beefsteak is...
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasutai, Curio, Kuru, Kore Kuta-san.
I had to stumble through that.
Curie, as in Mr. Cucumber something. Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
I'm not the only one that struggles with it. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct?
Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. At the exact moment the gun was fired.
The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoyara Koban, my prized coin.
Then this Hoyara Koban, do you mean to tell me...
Attention!
No! Please, why would Korakuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense!
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korakuta-san back to the witness stand, so we can ask him.
Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay.
I can't believe we've come back round to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case.
And a full witness stand. So many people. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves.
Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice. A worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasutai shop owner's existence.
Be that as it may, Kurokuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasutai memory serves...
Whoa! Yes, that's it! The one, the very exact one that is! The resplendent, splendiferous, hoy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day.
It can't be! As I thought.
Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped?
Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices.
Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously?
Clearly it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose.
Someone concealed my hoy treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate.
And the baby.
Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing?
Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course.
Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga.
I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in your restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts, targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau.
Wicked crimes indeed.
We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there's a master thief at work at the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Kurokuta-san's Koban is all too clear. What?
What?
I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Kurokuta-san's Koban and hid it under the steak?
Well,
Take that!
I wonder who. Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Ayesanosa! What? How dare you! You monster! Monster. I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido is the mastermind behind all of this.
Really now?
You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby. It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa.
Got him.
Ugh.
This gets so weird. These always get weird.
Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Ayesanosa preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir.
Blame the baby.
Do any of you know of the extraordinary low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays to those it expects to keep our country safe?
I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I have heard it is hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living. Yes.
All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant. The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time.
So, I love the logic here. Let's go to this expensive restaurant and eat so you can scope out clients that you can steal from. And then pay for this expensive restaurant so you can eat and scope it.
It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable.
And yet your target that day was the old man and his Koban.
Yes, sir. It was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all.
A veritable phantom thief you are.
I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot.
I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double. I slipped it under the stake, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. I love, this is also the other thing I love about this series, is how off the rails it goes to get somewhere. Like, we're in this trial trying to figure out who killed Dr. Wilson, and we're here talking about this coin that was hidden under a stake.
This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling your own time. Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all.
Move my mic stand here a little bit.
May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency.
Indeed. The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me.
Yeah. I swear, this room is such a mess, and I'm just trying to, like, move my mic so that, like, I'm not, like, too far away from it.
Nonsense, is it?
Well,
And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day.
I love that look.
Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something that didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry. You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it will be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett! What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new stupid nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Yeah, there's definitely, you're not the only one that got that kind of comparison, so.
Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction.
I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where's the evidence to prove it? Okay, is that what I do? Okay, I'm gonna go for it, because I can't remember which one I'm supposed
Take
to do.
that!
The photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred.
Okay, I think we're on the right track then.
What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table.
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed, yes. Go on.
More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs! Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. Oh! I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett.
Noticed what exactly, Counsel?
Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did! She's a refined English gentlewoman herself! Then take a good look at this steak, in particular, the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Ah!
Oh,
It looks like Miss Brett's. It looks like Miss Brett has realized something.
Oh, yeah, it could be. So,
If the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, then there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was...
Shut up!
Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course. This will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place.
Shut up!
I've had enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course, dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her.
Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this?
here we are.
Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day.
I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us?
Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson.
Shut up!
Conclusive evidence. How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase. Typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been What?
But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
This is absurd! The trial has run several hours already,
Boy, don't I know that.
and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be! I don't believe you have it!
Objection!
I don't. But there's someone here who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair?
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it. Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's... No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the stake with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak, as well as admitting to stealing Kurokuta-san's coin. He told us that he slipped under the steak. You watch it, cadet! I'm a superior officer! Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake? Attention! Affirmative, of course! I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the stake that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense! That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor does she have the opportunity to steal a coin.
Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire.
Well then, how do you explain this paradox?
Exactly! Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over?
Well, it certainly seems like somebody did.
You did switch the plates?
Well, after it happened, yeah, we got you all right. When I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stick and hid the coin underneath it. But then, when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slap at me, there it'd be. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table.
What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing.
It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done.
Unbelievable!
However, fear not, Prosecutor-san.
What now?
I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That's all I did. Sir!
All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over,
It means he took Miss Brizelle's, Miss Brett's steak, and the plate it was on, back to his own table.
Yes, that follows.
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Oh, there's the music.
Shut up!
What could that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat. It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady.
I beg your pardon.
Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no?
You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me.
The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something that the defendant remembers seeing.
Thinks he remembers.
I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table, directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have evidence to prove it. The plate that you were eating from, Miss Brett.
Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, we'll show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident.
Yes, sir. Oh, the pursuit is so good. Sorry for keeping you. There it is. Here is the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. The blood stain. It's clearly visible. Look!
Yes!
Now, this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim.
It can't be.
In fact, there's only one person who possibly could have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you!
Done by a Japanese. Me. By a Japanese schoolboy. No. No. No!
I'm not gonna sustain that. No. Oh man, Magnus is gonna be a fun one to do. I know the voice I'm gonna do for a strong heart, and that's gonna be something. Bye. And that's gonna be something. And you have the link to the archive. I do have a fancy new little command to like if you type like !archive in the chat, it gives you a link to the YouTube channel, which is cool, and I'll plug that. But you obviously already know it, so feel free to check that out to catch up the rest, because It looks like we should be able to kind of get started a little bit into the next chapter, I think, because we're right at the end of this one. And you know what's in the next chapter, and you know why that's going to be cool. All right. Well, I will. You have a good one, and hopefully the rest is enjoyable when you catch up on it later. All right. Bye.
Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Please forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time.
Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using Killer. As you surmised, it chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a temporary appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning.
So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because Killer is unheard of here in Japan.
Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. To see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I'd place the steak I'd ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he'd been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, he. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was his hair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan at the spur of the moment.
A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man.
I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt? So I was right. There were two guns.
Yes.
And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it.
If everything went according to plan, you noticed the gun as I intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up,
That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point, he was already dead.
naturally, the gunshot caused commotion, at which point the waiter appeared.
Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside.
That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor's chair around.
Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun.
So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor.
It's more than a misdemeanor.
Your Excellency,
Yes.
I wonder, Might I speak with you in private later?
I shall call on you.
Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san.
It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement.
This can't be! Takatsuchi Ouchi does not lose! Not to the likes of this rookie student! You'd better start getting used to tough opposition. Ah! Ryunosuke Naruhodo! Oh, yes. This insult to Ouchi family name will never be forgotten!
You've become conceited with age, Council. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. A thousand millennia may pass, and still, the Ouchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan.
This trial, in the Supreme Court of Japan, will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accusing, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asogi.
Yes.
After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you.
I understand, Your Excellency.
What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind.
There's something there.
As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo,
Oh, yes.
in you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty.
Yeah.
This court is now adjourned.
And there we go.
I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Cosmo.
No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large Sukiyuki from the place on Yuma University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Oh, whoops. I thought that was Professor Mikotoba. I wish it wouldn't do that. Sorry.
Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruto-san's innocence.
Aha, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know.
Oh, no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Speaking of Mikotoba.
Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Now I got the right voice. Naruto, you did an excellent job.
Thank you, Professor.
Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend.
Good friend? Oh, yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yuma University, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson?
Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together?
I've never heard you mention that before.
Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, so Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot.
I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi clan.
You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you?
Of course I am. The Japanese man's katana is his sword. This blade shows me where I need to go, and cuts down anything that's in my way.
Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes.
That reminds me, what's happening to the woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder.
Oh yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the culprit after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not?
It is a matter of consular jurisdiction. I think I got the right voice. Oh, no. Wrong again.
Inspector Hosonaga.
It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today.
Very impressive to watch. But what's all this about consular jurisdiction?
We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan.
What? We can't try her? But then, who's going to bring her to justice?
A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard.
But why a consular court?
Professor,
I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past, now that we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I've no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But, Professor... You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hasanoga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about the details for now. To La Carnival! Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course! La Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Susato is the best character. Just gonna go out there and say it.
So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma.
Yes, Ryunosuke.
I just wanted to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today.
I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you?
That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world.
I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me.
Come on, be serious.
If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But
You have a natural talent for being a defense lawyer, Oh, no, not me. That tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry, what do you mean that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience. But you never stopped believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and again. But you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it. Through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too.
This game has such good vibes.
So, my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Mikotoba, Suzata-san, who acted as my assistant, Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life.
This is such a cool game. Alright, and that is finally the end of chapter 1. Dang, that... I'm gonna back myself into a corner on this again. Because, like... Oh... Last time, like, I had the opportunity to, like, stop around this time. And I just kept going, and it was a lot from there. But... we're gonna go ahead and just roll into the next chapter here. Because I really want to meet, like, one of the other best characters in this entire game.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Excellent time for a quick little water break. Oh, all right.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. And in cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
There he is. We're gonna keep going a little bit.
My head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait, I can't move. What the? Why am I in handcuffs?
I don't know who that is. I'm gonna try to play this smart. Okay. I'm just gonna come back and read that. So you wake up now, But we had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You're a true cold-blooded man.
You found me then?
Da, we found you. And now you pay. Criminal!
How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, Sorry.
Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is,
No, I'll tell you everything.
I don't know who that is. Okay.
There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato. Wait. What did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma?
Ha! You pretend you do not know. You're a wolf in sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses.
What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin. That was bolted shut from the inside. His body.
Please. Do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep.
Kazuma's dead. But he can't be. In these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. No! Kazuma. It was just two short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? We won't get in trouble.
Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant, Mikitoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely, we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe up for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I'll tell you what. Why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together.
We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murder.
No, I'm not a murderer.
Da, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes.
No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering my best friend?
No one else could have done it. Admit the truth.
Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. There is something I would like to ask of you too. Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? And these handcuffs. They think I did it. They think I'm Cosmo's killer. When they found him, the cabin... Oh, whoops. When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped from these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What exactly happened? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died. The ship's doctor is examining the body, of course, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn until an expert has been consulted at the next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious signs of external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone kill Cosima? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes I was, but... He would always wake up before dinner and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he didn't come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, it was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. The white tape there now shows exactly where it was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but it's just very hard to believe. It's all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Why are you even on board this ship now, Horasan? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. How could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you. But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself? Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the centre of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. He was always saying the same thing. He wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Suzato-san. I'm sorry that we kept that secret from you. My stolen ring on the ship right now. If I knew Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Well, perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deep that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed. Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable. Really, I do. But that's the truth. If I'd only woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this.
2 chapters and he's accused of murder twice. What a run of luck.
Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? Oh, I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Cosmo was killed right under my nose, here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Cosmo's life. And how and why they did it. So, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me.
Yeah!
What the... Oh. That was a Susato takedown. Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry. Prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to? Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting you to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovering the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Cosmo always puts it in place whenever I went to sleep in there, just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decide to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Cosima. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Cosima-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back into position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring trick to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating you here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death.
Okay. Time to examine. How do I... That's how you move over to the side.
It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time now, Kodo-san?
I think living isn't quite the right description.
Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout.
The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So, yes, I did basically have to live in that wardrobe. And last night was no exception.
But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin?
No, sadly not. Poor Susato.
Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you now, Kodo-san?
Are we getting a tutorial? Yep. You mean the thing that I did to actually look over the wardrobe?
I'm sure you're careful to look around using the... aren't you? Now let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma didn't even make it to his destination. Looks as though his last entry is incomplete. Which means... what? He was in the middle of writing when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Yeah! That is out of the question. Well, Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright. I won't read it. Oh, Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Did Cosmo write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Cosmo-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner. I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, not Hoda-san. Then what language is it? It pains me to admit, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder?
So that's part of that. Investigate the trunk. I think I'm gonna investigate this scene and then, like, I'm feeling it in my voice right now, so I think I'm gonna call it after we're done investigating this. So,
That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how he stowed away on this vessel. Was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes, I see. It says this way up in Japanese. Which in hindsight I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. Oh, I was turned over and over and over. And then I was tossed on the floor and here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. What do you think this is? Looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing it was, appears to have been broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. The books have fallen over on the shelf, look. They've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked, and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training. Do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, not Horo-san? In a fit of rage? I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess.
okay. I don't think those are going to be anything that are really needed at this moment.
That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince government to allow him to bring it on this ship, on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of where, when, and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. He didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt, and not particularly sturdy. It just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of this cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from the outside of the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a very clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine.
Okay.
This is... yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I've read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that. I suppose. Maybe that's it.
There he is.
Who's that? He wasn't there a moment ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I've no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. And tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Cosmo's desk? Or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Suzato-san almost look uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you talk to people when they're in crosshairs, you'll converse with them. Yeah. Alright then, get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do.
Here we go.
Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point of my investigation.
Oh, here we are.
Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings! I hope I haven't... Ah! What exactly were you doing on Cosima's desk just now?
Here we go. I'm gonna arrange the mic a little bit closer.
Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry. What do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, what? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And working with the ribboned occupant of this very cabin, and when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes.
I love this.
Just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So, it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. It's shameful behavior, Naruto-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's a way. Hiya! Oh. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. Oh. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see? What do you make of that, well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder, so I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes? The very same. The inimitable, actual Sherlock Holmes.
I love that his name is Sherlock Holmes, by the way. That's so funny to me, of just like, because originally, like, they were gonna, like, run with his name as, like, the name that we all know, Sherlock Holmes, and it's just kind of funny to, like, because if you use the name, like, Sherlock Holmes, then they're obviously going to be paying royalties. And I'm sure that it's probably like, okay, yeah, you can use the name, just pay us. And it's like, we don't really have the money to be able to do that. Let's just go ahead and call him Sherlock Holmes. No way, no. So, it's funny.
Do you know this man, Suzato-san? The most famous detective in all the world, Naruhodo-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? You must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about all this? So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. You're German. Herlock, was it? No. I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Holmes.
I love this. I love just how he is, if that makes sense.
You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rant's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then? Indeed I am. I've read so many of your own stories. You've started to think you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusted biographer records my greatest detective achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson. Presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning to Asia. I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form.
I love this voice. This is a fun voice.
Science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture, fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can you look me in the eye and claim that? So, you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, he's so extra, and I'm kind of here for it.
Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow! Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two facts, you say? Mr. Holmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced were a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime. That I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Holmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor.
I can't read that.
That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In the final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Gerde Rob may be the name of the killer, a certain Robert Garde, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided I would not... but in the interests of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Cosmo had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. You're right, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes. Thank you. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all of that? Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think?
Can't read Russian.
Certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Ah, yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Cosmo Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Cosmo-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who had killed the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. No, how could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And, I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah, yes. The journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also, quite clearly stated here in the article, Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it, anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby.
Sure, I'll take that.
And you may find the article on the back of the page of interest as well. On the back, cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. There might be a picture or two.
Alright, sure. We'll go take a look at it. Why not?
I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me either. Neither. I've no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front of the page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant in our Hodasan? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess. Do you think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you noticed this article. Ah! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. It pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During the performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must have been incredible, an unbelievable sum of money. Suzato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be a Russian thing to do. I'm not even response, Mr. Naruhodo. Go. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma. Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe, for a moment, the desktop of the victim. You see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. A London diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean that you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? It is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray, be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. Ha 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 ha! So what was all that showing off before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it for you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. And, if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds revel in stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate, hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. But why? A A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no? There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So, what were you looking at my... So, what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then, and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. A sense of humor's as twisted as his name. Naruto-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin, while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it all to Cosmo. Yeah, I owe it to Cosmo to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. I think that's a plenty good place to, like, go ahead and leave it there. So, I think we'll call it there, 'cause, oh boy, we're at the 3 hours, and I am feeling it. Oh, these run so long. Oh, there's, like, the like, point of, like, exits just, like, at that right spot of just, like, oh, I should stop at, like, 2 hours, but then I keep going, and I feel it, so, thankfully not as bad a cliffhanger as our last one, so there's that. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and call it here, and we will continue this on next week, and we get to see, hopefully next week, the real fun parts involving Herlock Sholmes. Such a goofy thing, but it's gonna be so good. It's so much fun. Yeah, so we'll leave off here. Again, just as an announcement as we're closing here, the end of the month is going to be our specialty stream, which is a casual speedrun, and I will be doing Mega Man X again. So I kind of like the idea of the last one in the year being this, like, game that we saw earlier and seeing how I can improve. And of the 3 I've done, Mega Man X is the one to improve. It was such a bad run, so hopefully I'll do better. I think I actually get enough time that I'll have, like, 2 attempts if I do it right. We'll see. So, but man, yeah. of the 3 that I've done, like, there's one that I haven't submitted, and there's a reason I didn't submit that run. So, yeah.
yeah, with that, I will see you next week, and we will continue on with our story here. Bye!